The Galactic Alliance had ruled the stars for more than 800 years. No enemy had ever defeated them. No species had ever surprised them. Inside the Grand Command Hall, thousands of alien leaders watched a massive holographic galaxy spinning slowly in the air. This meeting was special. For the first time in history, the Alliance was preparing for official first contact with humanity. Humans came from a small blue planet called Earth. They were labeled as young, emotional, and technologically behind. Most commanders were relaxed. Some were bored. Another weak species, one senior admiral said calmly. They will accept our terms. The plan was simple. The Alliance would contact Earth, offer protection, and quietly control human space. Then something went wrong. A junior sensor officer suddenly froze. His eyes stayed locked on a screen. "Command, I am losing deep space readings," he said. The room grew quieter. "That is not possible," another officer replied. "Our sensors cover half the galaxy." But the data kept vanishing. Long-range scanners went dark. Communication relays stopped responding. One by one, systems failed. The galaxy map flickered. Then a shadow appeared. At first, it looked like a drifting moon. Cold, silent, massive. "Is that an asteroid?" someone asked. "No," the sensor officer whispered. "It's moving with intent." The object changed direction smoothly. Perfect control. Perfect balance. Gasps filled the command hall. The shadow slowly came into focus. It was a ship, not a fleet, not a station. A single ship. And it was larger than anything the Alliance had ever built. The hologram zoomed in. The ship had no sharp angles, no exposed weapons, no glowing engines, yet it radiated power. Raw, controlled, silent. "Identify the vessel," the Supreme Commander ordered. Multiple species worked together. Languages overlapped. Data streams flooded the system. Then a single line of text appeared on the central display. Identification received. Origin, human. Vessel type, battlecruiser. Class, unknown. The command hall went completely silent. A human battlecruiser. That made no sense. Humans were not supposed to have ships like this. They were explorers, traders, survivors, not builders of monsters. "How did we miss this?" a strategist asked. "No heat signature," a scientist replied. "No energy leak. No detectable weapon systems." Another pause. Yet its power output is beyond our highest estimates. The ship continued to approach. Not fast, not slow, confident. Alien fleets around the system shifted into defensive positions. Shields activated. Weapons armed. The human ship did nothing. No warning. No message. Just silence. Then, without any visible signal, the battlecruiser moved. It crossed millions of kilometers in seconds. No hyperspace jump. No distortion. It simply appeared closer. Several commanders stood up in shock. "That violates known physics," someone said. "Impossible," another replied. The ship stopped exactly at the center of the system. Perfect placement, as if it had planned this moment long ago. Suddenly, a soft signal entered the Alliance network. Not a transmission. A handshake. Simple. Clean. Polite. "This is not an attack," a communications expert said slowly. "It is the greeting." The human ship was waiting. The Supreme Commander narrowed his eyes. "Open a secure channel." The channel opened. At first, there was nothing. Then a calm human voice filled the hall. "This is the United Earth battlecruiser, Resolute. No threats. No demands. Just a statement. We acknowledge your presence," the voice continued. "And your caution." The commanders exchanged uneasy looks. The human voice spoke again. "We did not come to challenge you." The ship remained motionless. "But we will not be underestimated." A pause, long enough to feel heavy. "Your fleets are impressive," the voice said calmly. "Your history is long." Another pause. "But today is not about power." The sensors suddenly updated. The Alliance fleets were still intact, still armed. But something had changed. Every weapon lock was gone. Their systems were no longer under their control. No damage, no shutdown, just restraint. A silent demonstration. Fear spread through the hall. Not panic. Respect. The human voice returned. "This is first contact," it said, "and first impressions matter." The channel closed. The battlecruiser did not move. It waited. The Supreme Commander finally spoke. "They could destroy us," he said quietly. "Yes," a scientist replied, "but they chose not to." Outside, the stars continued to shine. Inside, the galaxy had changed. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Alliance understood something new. Humans were not weak. They were not reckless. They were prepared. And this ship, this was not built to conquer the galaxy. It was built to make the galaxy think twice. The silence remained, and no one dared to break it. The silence did not end when the human channel closed. Inside the Grand Command Hall, no one spoke. Thousands of alien leaders stood frozen, their eyes fixed on the glowing image of the human battlecruiser. It did not move. It did not threaten. It simply existed. That made it worse. "Run a full systems check," the Supreme Commander ordered at last. Teams across the hall moved into action. Screens filled with data. Symbols from hundreds of alien languages flashed at once. Weapons were online. Shields were active. Engines were ready. But none of them responded to command input. "They are not disabled," a weapons officer said carefully. "They are locked." "By whom?" a commander demanded. The officer swallowed. "By the human ship." A wave of discomfort spread through the hall. "How?" a scientist asked. There was no attack, no energy surge, no signal spike. "That is what troubles me," another replied. "It means they did this quietly." The battlecruiser still waited in the center of the system. Alien fleets surrounded it from all directions. Hundreds of ships, thousands of weapons, enough firepower to erase entire worlds. Yet no one dared to fire. The human ship had already proven something important. It did not need to show force. "Magnify the vessel," the Supreme Commander said. The hologram zoomed in slowly. The ship's surface was smooth and dark, reflecting starlight like calm water. No visible turrets. No missile bays. No glowing cannons. "This cannot be a warship," one commander muttered. "There are no weapons." A human specialist in xenotechnology quietly disagreed. "That only means we cannot see them." The room grew tense again. "Scan for power output," the Supreme Commander ordered. The results appeared moments later. Several scientists stared at the numbers in disbelief. "That is impossible," one whispered. "That much power contained in a single hull. It exceeds our largest star bases," another added. The ship was a contradiction. Silent, yet overwhelming. Peaceful, yet terrifying. Outside the command hall, the stars remained calm. But within the Alliance network, something strange was happening. Reports arrived from nearby systems, then from distant ones, then from across the galaxy. Human ships were being detected everywhere. Not fleets. Observers. Quiet vessels, watching trade routes, borders, and key systems. They were already here, a strategist realized slowly. They did not arrive today. They revealed themselves today. Another corrected. The Supreme Commander felt a cold, understanding form. "This battlecruiser is not a message," he said. "It is punctuation." Attention returned to the central ship. A new signal appeared. Again, no force. No intrusion. A polite request. The Alliance hesitated. "Open the channel," the Supreme Commander said. The human voice returned. "Calm. Steady. You are analyzing our vessel," the voice said. "That is expected. No anger. No pride. Only certainty. You'll find no visible weapons." The voice continued. "That is intentional." A pause followed. "We learned long ago that visible weapons invite fear." The commanders listened closely. "And fear leads to mistakes." The silence stretched. Then the human spoke again. "This ship exists to prevent war, not start it." Several alien leaders shifted uncomfortably. To be clear, the human said, we are fully aware that you could attempt to destroy us. A pause. We are also aware that you will not. The confidence in the voice was unsettling. One alien commander finally spoke. Is that a threat? No, the human replied immediately. It is an observation. The channel remained open. The Supreme Commander leaned forward. Why show us this ship, he asked. The answer came without delay. Because first contact must be honest. Another pause. For centuries, you have judged species by their fleets, the human said. By their firepower. By their fear. The commanders exchanged looks. You would have judged us the same way, the voice continued. And you would have been wrong. A new data stream appeared on Alliance screens. Ship schematics. Not complete. Not secret. Enough to understand. This vessel is a battle cruiser, the human said. But it is not designed for conquest. The data showed layered systems. Redundant cores. Defensive networks far beyond Alliance standards. It is designed to survive, the human added. To protect, the voice continued. And to ensure that no one ever miscalculates what humanity can endure. The silence deepened. One scientist spoke quietly. This ship could outlast any of ours. Another added, it could disable us without harming a single crew. The Supreme Commander felt something unfamiliar. Not fear. Awareness. The human voice softened. We do not seek control, it said. We seek balance. The channel paused. Then came the most unsettling line. We built this ship because we learned that peace is fragile. Images appeared on the screen. Human colonies attacked. Human ships destroyed. Early encounters gone wrong. We survived, the voice said. And we learned. The battlecruiser powered down several visible systems. A gesture of trust. Or a calculated move. We will remain here, the human concluded. We will not interfere. Another pause. But from this moment forward, humanity will not be ignored. The channel closed once more. No movement. No threat. The human battlecruiser stayed where it was, watching, waiting. Inside command hall, the Supreme Commander finally spoke. They are not challenging us, he said slowly. No, a strategist replied. They are setting boundaries. Outside, the stars were still quiet, but across the galaxy, every major power was listening, because when humans revealed their strength, they did not shout. They whispered, and the galaxy leaned in. The human battlecruiser did not move. Hours passed in the Galactic Alliance command system, yet no one dared to give an order against it. The ship remained still, like a dark star at the center of attention. Inside the Grand Command Hall, discussions began again, but this time in low voices. They are not acting like conquerors, one elder commander said. No, another replied. They're acting like survivors. The Supreme Commander stood quietly, watching the human ship. Bring me everything we know about humanity, he ordered. Data flowed across the screens. Human history. Human conflicts. Human losses. At first, it looked familiar. Wars. Borders. Struggles. Mistakes. But then patterns appeared. Humans adapted faster than expected. They rebuilt faster than expected. They remembered pain longer than expected. They do not forget, as historian noted. They learn. Images appeared from early human expansion. Human ships destroyed by pirates. Colonies raided by stronger species. Diplomacy ignored. They were weak once, the strategist said. Yes, the Supreme Commander replied. And they decided never to be weak again. Attention returned to the battlecruiser. The more the Alliance studied it, the more disturbing it became. Its systems were layered beyond reason. Backup after backup after backup. This ship is built to fight alone, a scientist said, and to keep fighting. Another discovery followed. It can operate without resupply for decades. Silence followed that statement. This is not a weapon of war, the Supreme Commander said slowly. It is a statement of intent. As if responding to the thought, the human channel opened again. No warning. No alarm. The calm voice returned. You are studying our past. it said. That is understandable. Several commanders stiffened. How do they know? One whispered. We expected this, the human continued. We studied yours as well. A pause. For centuries, your alliance has enforced peace through dominance. No accusation, just fact. And it worked, the human admitted, until it did not. Images appeared again. Collapsed empires. Forgotten species. Wars erased from records. Peace built on fear always fails, the human said. Eventually, the Supreme Commander spoke carefully. Is that why you built this ship? Yes, the human replied without hesitation. Another pause. Humans learned early that asking for mercy does not protect you. Silence weighed heavily in the hall. We tried diplomacy, the voice continued. We tried trust. Images showed human envoys turn away. Warnings ignored. Borders violated. And we survived, the human said. But survival came at a cost. The battlecruiser's power signature shifted slightly. Not aggressive. Focused. This ship represents our answer, the voice said. Not rage. Not revenge. A pause. Preparation. One alien commander finally spoke. Why not build fleets? Why only one ship? The human answer came calmly. Because fleets escalate fear. Another pause. One ship invites thought. The commanders absorbed this. This battlecruiser was designed to end wars before they begin, the human said. Not by force. A soft correction followed, but by certainty. The data screen showed simulations. Every known alliance tactic. Every fleet formation. All neutralized, not destroyed. Neutralized. You plan for us, a strategist said quietly. Yes, the human replied, because we hoped you would never force us to use those plans. The channel remained open. The Supreme Commander leaned forward. What happens now? He asked. The human voice softened slightly. Now, it said, we listen. That answer caused confusion. Listen? An alien leader repeated. Yes, the human replied. To understand who you choose to be next. A pause followed. We did not come to demand territory. Another pause. We did not come to rewrite your laws. The ship remained motionless. We came to make one thing clear, the human said. The room felt smaller. Humanity will not be ruled. Silence returned. Then the human continued. We will stand with equals. The Supreme Commander felt something shift. Not balance. Perspective. And if we are treated as lesser? He asked. The reply was immediate. Then we will endure, the human said, as we always have. The implication was clear. Endurance had shaped this ship. Endurance had shaped humanity. The channel closed again. The battlecruiser powered down several systems further. Another gesture, or another calculation. Reports arrived from across the galaxy. Other species were watching, listening, reconsidering their own fleets. They have changed the conversation, a diplomat said. Yes, the Supreme Commander replied. They have changed the rules. Outside the command hall, the human battlecruiser waited, not threatening, not retreating. It was patient. And patience, the Alliance realized, was far more dangerous than aggression, because a species that chose silence over fear was a species prepared for anything. The galaxy did not speak, but it understood. The galaxy remained quiet, but tension grew with every passing minute. The human battlecruiser still waited at the center of the system. It did not move. It did not speak. It simply stayed there, calm and unreadable. Inside the Grand Command Hall, the silence became unbearable. They are testing us, one commander said softly. No, another replied. They are trusting us. Not everyone agreed. Far from the command hall, within a distant Alliance strike group, a different discussion was happening. One powerful faction had never trusted diplomacy. They believed strength must always be answered with strength. If we allow this, their war leader said, we show weakness. Their fleet weapons charged quietly. Back in the command hall, warning signals flashed. Unauthorized power buildup detected. a sensor officer reported. The Supreme Commander's eyes widened. From where? Outer Defense Fleet, came the reply. Order them to stand down, he commanded. The message was sent. There was no response. Outside, in the cold of space, one Alliance cruiser moved slightly out of formation. Its weapons glowed. The human battlecruiser did not react. Stop them, a diplomat shouted. Too late. A single energy bolt fired, not aimed to destroy. A warning shot. It struck the empty space near the human ship. The entire command hall froze. That one moment stretched into eternity. The shot touched the invisible edge of the human battlecruiser's defense field and disappeared. No explosion. No impact. Nothing. For half a second, nothing happened. Then the human ship responded, not with weapons, not with movement. Space itself seemed to pause. Across the system, Alliance ships began reporting failures. Weapons lost power. Targeting systems went dark. Engines shut down into safe mode. Fleet after fleet went silent. No damage. No casualties. Just control removed. This is impossible, a weapons officer whispered. All fleets neutralized. The Supreme Commander felt his breath catch. The human battlecruiser still had not fired a single shot. A transmission opened instantly. The human voice returned. Calm, unchanged. That action was unnecessary, it said. No anger, no raised tone. Just fact. We warned you, the voice continued, and we still choose restraint. The commanders listened in shock. We have disabled your offensive systems temporarily, the human said. This is not punishment. A pause followed. It is correction. The distant rogue fleet attempted to regain control. Nothing responded. Fear spread, but it was controlled fear. Measured fear. The Supreme Commander leaned forward. Why not destroy the ship that fired? He asked. The human replied immediately. Because that would teach the wrong lesson. The room remained silent. Fear creates enemies, the human said. Understanding creates stability. The disabled fleets floated helplessly, surrounded by stars. Then, slowly, one by one, their systems came back online. Weapons reactivated. Engines restored. Control returned. The human battlecruiser released them. No demands followed. The channel stayed open. You had a choice, the human said, and you still do. The Supreme Commander stood. That fleet acted without authority, he said. They do not represent us. The human voice acknowledged this. We know, it said. That is why they still exist. That statement hit harder than any threat. Across the galaxy, observers recorded everything. The shot, the response, the mercy. News spread fast. Human restraint became the subject of every council and every academy. Back in the command hall, the Supreme Commander addressed the assembly. This could have been war, he said quietly. But it was not. He looked again at the human ship. They showed us something today. What? A commander asked. How power should be used, he replied. The human channel remained open. We will remain for a short time, the human voice said, to ensure stability. Another pause. After that, we will leave. Surprise filled the hall. You will leave? A diplomat asked. Yes, the human replied. Our presence should not become pressure. The human battlecruiser powered down even more systems. It was choosing vulnerability, a calculated one. The Supreme Commander felt something he had not felt in centuries. Relief. The galaxy had stood at the edge of war. And stepped back. The human voice spoke one final time. Let this moment be remembered, it said, not as a warning. A pause. But as a lesson. The channel closed. The battlecruiser remained still, silent once more. Inside the Grand Command Hall, no one spoke for a long time. Finally, the Supreme Commander said the words that would be recorded in history. Humanity does not seek dominance. He looked at the stars. They seek responsibility. Outside, the human ship waited, not as an enemy, not as a ruler, but as a reminder that true strength does not rush to destroy. It waits, And the galaxy, shaken but alive, understood that lesson deeply. The human battlecruiser remained in place for 3 full cycles. It did not move closer. It did not move away. It simply stayed. Across the Galactic Alliance, the silence felt different now. It was no longer fear. It was attention. Every major power watched. Every minor species listened. Inside the Grand Command Hall, emergency meetings turned into long discussions. For the first time in centuries, the Alliance was not deciding what to do next. They were waiting. Humans said they would listen, a diplomat said. But what are they waiting for? The Supreme Commander answered quietly. They are waiting to see who we truly are. Reports arrived from across the galaxy. Border conflicts paused. Trade routes went silent. Even pirate activity dropped. The presence of a single human ship had done what fleets never could. It made everyone careful. Then, without warning, the human channel opened again. This time, it was not limited to the Alliance. The signal spread. Open, unencrypted, public. Every species could hear it. The human voice was the same. Calm, clear, controlled. This message is for all who are listening, it said. Across thousands of worlds, leaders stopped speaking. Citizens paused their work. Soldiers froze mid-command. This is humanity, the voice continued. And this is our first open statement to the galaxy. No dramatic music. No threats. Just words. We have studied your history, the human said. Your wars. Your victories. Your failures. A pause followed. You built peace through power, the voice said. And for a long time it worked. Some Alliance leaders shifted uncomfortably. But power alone is unstable, the human continued. Eventually, someone stronger always appears. The battlecruiser remained silent in the stars, but its presence gave weight to every word. We did not build this ship to rule, the voice said. We built it so we would never be ruled. Across the galaxy, reactions varied. Some felt challenged. Some felt relieved. Some felt exposed. We know how this looks, the human said calmly. A single ship standing against an entire galaxy. A pause. But understand this. The voice slowed slightly. This ship is not a threat. Data streams appeared across public networks. Human colonies. Human cities. Human families. We are not conquerors, the voice said. We are defenders. Images shifted. Children studying. Engineers building. Explorers charting unknown space. We want what every species wants, the human continued. Safety, growth, a future. Another pause. But we learned something early. The images darkened. Burning settlements. Destroyed ships. Silent planets. When peace depends on mercy, the voice said, it eventually fails. The human message did not accuse. It explained. So we chose a different path, the voice continued. Prepared peace. The phrase echoed. Prepared peace. We will not fire first, the human said, but we will not fall quietly. Inside the Grand Command Hall, the Supreme Commander closed his eyes briefly. This was not a declaration of war. It was a declaration of existence. We do not demand territory, the voice said. We do not demand obedience. The battlecruiser powered down another visible system, a sign of trust. We offer something else, the human continued. The galaxy waited. We offer quality. The word carried weight. For too long, strength has decided status, the human said. We reject that system. Another pause. Judge us by our actions, the voice said, not by our fear. Silence followed. Then the human spoke again, softer now. This ship will leave soon. Shock rippled through Alliance leadership. We will return to our space, the voice said, and we will watch. The implication was clear. We will remember how you choose to respond, the human concluded. The message ended. No signature. No demand. Across the galaxy, conversations exploded. Some species felt hope for the first time. Others felt uncertainty. Inside the Grand Command Hall, the The Supreme Commander stood slowly. "They did not threaten us," he said. "They trusted us." A senior strategist nodded, and they showed us they did not need to. Messages began arriving. Independent systems requested dialogue with humans. Minor species asked for protection agreements. Former rivals called emergency councils. The balance of power was already shifting. Outside, the human battlecruiser began preparing to leave. Energy patterns changed. Space bent slightly around it. The Supreme Commander watched closely. "They came to speak," he said, and they spoke clearly. As the ship powered up, one final private channel opened. The human voice returned, addressed only to the Alliance. "This is your moment," it said. "A pause. What you do next will define the next age." The channel closed. The battlecruiser vanished without distortion, without noise. One moment it was there. The next it was gone. The stars returned to normal. But the galaxy did not. Inside the Grand Command Hall, no one celebrated. No one relaxed. Because every leader understood the truth. The humans had not taken control. They had handed the galaxy a choice. And for the first time in history, the galaxy felt the weight of being watched by someone who did not seek power, but would not allow abuse of it. The silence returned, not from fear, from thought, and across the stars, a new idea spread quietly. Peace was no longer enforced. It was expected. The human battlecruiser was gone. No wreckage, no trace, no signal, yet its absence felt heavier than its presence. Across the galaxy, star systems slowly returned to normal activity. Trade routes reopened. Fleets resumed patrols. Councils continued their debates. But nothing was the same. Inside the Galactic Alliance, records were updated. Military doctrines were rewritten. For the first time in centuries, the word humanity appeared in official documents with new label: equal power, independent authority. The Supreme Commander stood before the Council one final time. "We misjudged them," he said calmly, "and they allowed us to survive that mistake." No one argued. Reports continued to arrive from distant systems. Formerly ignored species were now being treated carefully. Border disputes were being resolved through dialogue. Aggressive expansions suddenly slowed. Fear had not caused this change. Awareness had. At Alliance academies, a new lesson was added to history classes: the first contact incident. Students studied the battlecruiser's design, its restraint, its silence. Teachers did not describe it as a weapon. They described it as a message. One instructor summarized it simply. "Humans did not conquer the galaxy," he said. "They made the galaxy pause." Far beyond Alliance space, humanity watched quietly. The battlecruiser Resolute returned to human territory without ceremony. No celebration waited for it. No speeches were made. That was intentional. Human leaders reviewed the results calmly. "They heard us," one official said. "Yes," another replied. "And now they will think before they act." The battlecruiser entered a quiet holding orbit. Systems powered down. Crews rotated. Maintenance crews worked in silence. The ship had done its job, not by firing weapons, but by setting limits. Years passed. The galaxy adjusted. New treaties formed that included humans as equals. Trade agreements expanded into human space. Joint exploration missions began cautiously. Some species still feared humanity. Others respected them. Humans accepted both. Then one day, deep within Alliance territory, a conflict nearly erupted between two ancient rivals. Fleets mobilized, weapons charged. But before the first shot could be fired, both sides paused. They remembered the silence, the restraint, the ship that ended a war without starting one. Diplomats were called instead. The fleet stood down. Across the galaxy, this moment was quietly noted. Humanity had changed how power was measured, not by destruction, but by control. The Supreme Commander, now old, looked out at the stars one last time before retirement. "We thought power meant dominance," he said softly. "They taught us it means responsibility." In human space, the battlecruiser remained unseen, unneeded. That was the goal. Because humans did not want to rule the galaxy. They wanted to live in it, and they had made something clear to everyone who watched the stars. If humanity ever returned in silence again, it would not be to threaten. It would be because someone had forgotten the lesson that spread across the galaxy, from academy halls to command bridges, a lesson written into history. Do not mistake human silence for weakness. They speak softly, and they prepare carefully. The galaxy did not fear humans anymore. It respected them, and that respect was enough. The galaxy moved forward. Years turned into decades, and decades into centuries. New species rose. Old empires faded. Borders shifted slowly, carefully. But one thing never disappeared: the silence. In every major command center, there was an unspoken rule. Before any fleet moved, before any weapon charged, one question was always asked: what would humans think of this? Human space remained quiet. No massive fleets. No constant patrols. No shows of force. Just observation. Some younger species believed the stories were exaggerated. One ship cannot change the galaxy, they said. Humans are just another power. They had not seen that day. They had not felt the stillness when the battlecruiser appeared. They had not watched fleets lose control without a single shot. In Alliance academies, the lesson remained mandatory. Students studied the moment frame by frame, the warning shot, the response, the mercy. Instructors always ended the lesson the same way. Remember, they said, humans did not win by violence. They won by restraint. Far from Alliance space, deep in uncharted darkness, sensors picked up something strange. An unknown fleet, old technology, aggressive movement. Reports reached multiple governments. Fear returned. Emergency councils formed. Fleets prepared. Old habits tried to rise again. Then someone asked the question: have the humans been informed? Silence followed. A message was sent. Not urgent. Not desperate. Respectful. Human response came hours later. Short. Clear. We are aware. Nothing more. That was enough. The unknown fleet changed course. No explanation. No conflict. Across the galaxy, leaders noticed something important. Humans had not moved a ship, had not issued a threat. Their awareness alone had altered events. The silence still worked. On Earth, human historians recorded the truth carefully. They did not glorify war. They did not celebrate fear. They recorded intent. Humanity had learned something rare. Power is loud. Control is quiet. The battlecruiser Resolute remained in reserve, untouched, almost forgotten by the public. That was also intentional. A weapon remembered is dangerous. A weapon unseen is decisive. In the deepest archives of Galactic Alliance, a final record was sealed. It carried no dramatic title, only a simple line: first contact with humanity. Below it, one sentence explained everything. They did not arrive to conquer the galaxy. They arrived to make sure no one ever needed to. The stars continued to shine. Trade continued. Life continued. But whenever space fell completely silent, veterans still remembered. Silence was not empty. It was human. And as long as that silence existed, the galaxy knew one truth. Some wars end with victory. Some end with destruction. But the most important wars end before they begin. The silence lasted for a long time. So long that many believed it would last forever. New generations grew up hearing stories about the human battlecruiser. To them, it sounded like a legend. A single ship, a calm voice, a galaxy that stopped breathing. Some believed it, some doubted it, and some decided to test it. Far beyond the known borders of the galaxy, in a region never claimed by the Alliance, an ancient power began to wake. Their ships were old, but vast in number. Their technology was rough, but ruthless. They had no history with humans, which made them dangerous. They observed the galaxy carefully. They saw no massive human fleets, no constant patrols, no visible defense, only silence. They misread it. The ancient fleet moved in slowly, taking systems that belonged to smaller species. No warnings were sent. No negotiations offered. Worlds fell. Refugee signals spread across space. The Galactic Alliance detected the invasion quickly. Emergency councils were formed. Fleets were prepared. But hesitation filled the halls. "This enemy does not fear us," a commander said. "They do not know humans," another replied. The old question returned. Do we inform humanity? Some leaders hesitated. What if they no longer care? One asked. What if the silence means they step back? Another said. Finally, a simple message was sent. Not a demand. Not a panic call. Just information. The message crossed space and entered human territory. On Earth, Human Command received it without alarm. Analysts studied the data quietly. The invading fleet's strength, their movement, their intent. Human leaders exchanged calm looks. They are repeating an old mistake. One said, in deep space, far from attention, a familiar system began to wake. Lights returned. Power flowed. Silent engines warmed. The battlecruiser Resolute came online for the first time in decades. No announcement was made. No public signal. Across the galaxy, sensors felt it before they saw it. A pressure, a certainty. The invading fleet noticed something strange. Their long-range scans showed distortion. Not energy, not movement, presence. Then, without warning, a single human signal reached them. Clear, calm, undeniable. You are entering protected space. The ancient commanders laughed. One ship, they replied. That myth still exists. The human response came instantly. This is not a warning. The voice said, it is information. Space shifted. The Resolute appeared, not between fleets, between intention and action. The invading ships tried to lock weapons. They failed. Systems froze. Commands vanished. Fear arrived late. The human voice spoke one last time. We waited, it said. We hoped you would choose differently. A pause. You did not. The galaxy held its breath. What humans would do next? No one knew, because this time, the silence did not mean patience. It meant a decision had been made. And somewhere among the stars, the legend became real again.